Welcome to our Wednesday devotion. I'm Pastor Tim Gerbing from Christ Lutheran Church in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Today we consider words recorded for us by John in his Gospel, the Gospel of John, chapter 9, reading verses 1 to 3. As Jesus went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," said Jesus, "but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." I just listened to a sports podcast this morning where a fan blamed his team's loss on the field conditions, and he suggested that the opposing team, which was the home team, had purposefully damaged its field to give its team the advantage. Often when we experience disappointments in life, especially an unexpected, out of control type of disappointment, it seems only natural to pin the blame for that disappointment on something or someone else, because our minds just can't seem to rest until we come up with a logical and a reasonable solution. A man was born blind. Imagine a pregnant mother who's so eager for her baby to be born, and then finally, after 9 months, her baby arrives healthy in absolutely every way, a cute little boy, except that it's blind. Disappointment does not even seem to be accurate enough of a word to describe what that mother must have felt. How would you comfort such a mother? Maybe you would quote Romans chapter 8, that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Or maybe you'd say something like, "Well, God never gives you more than you can handle." Well, for one thing, in Romans chapter 8, Paul is not suggesting, as some people think, that God throws hard conditions into my life to make me a stronger Christian, thereby turning what was bad into my personal good. And when people have told me, a misquoting of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, that God never gives you more than you can handle, I usually think to myself, almost everything in my life is more than I can handle. Jesus has a better answer. He says, "This happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him," which is simply a way to say that God decided that this blind child, who would have a very difficult life, would one day in adulthood have his sight restored, so that God's power would be seen in Jesus. The Christian life, it's all about Jesus. Everyone, believers and unbelievers, they suffer in so many different ways because both believers and unbelievers are sinful people living in a sinful world. But God uses a Christian's sufferings and heartaches and disappointments to demonstrate his goodness, his power, his love. He demonstrates this so that then others can know that the one and only true God is a God of love, of salvation, and of life itself. And so we ask our God that our faith in Jesus be especially obvious to others when we suffer, so that the love of Jesus, the one whom we put our trust in, may be a love that is desired by many others. Amen.